Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Tom Still from the Tech Council, and I hope you're enjoying the 2020 Wisconsin Entrepreneurs Conference so far. Our theme is crossing the coronavirus chasm, and I hope we're doing our bit today to cross that chasm. During the networking break, I was fortunate enough to come in and take a look at some of our exhibitor booths, and they're really fascinating. A lot of videos on there, opportunities to chat with the exhibitors, to pose questions, to get more information. So yeah, please do what you can to visit those booths. So thank you so much, and thanks to all of our sponsors. We've got our platinum group. You can see here on the screen in front of you. So thrilled for their support. Our gold group as well have been doing a lot to support this conference, and a number of others who are in the silver category. And so there's two slides of that, and they're really a great cross section of companies large and small in Wisconsin, but also companies that are all involved in building a better tech infrastructure here, a better entrepreneurial infrastructure here. They come from all walks of life, and they're really such a huge part of what this state has become and what it'll be in the future. So thank you so much for everybody's work on that. Well, this portion of the conference is all about our Seize the Day Award, and specifically it's the Ken Hendricks Memorial Seize the Day Award. And I'll tell you a little more about Mr. Hendricks in a minute. Yeah, many of these people are technologists, but they're really largely innovators, leaders, people who persevered, people who saw business opportunities that others did not, and they turned those opportunities into success. And over time, that's been really a major part of this award. It's been people who, again, it wasn't exclusively or even mostly about their technical expertise as much as it was about what they did to build companies. And so let's see some of the past winners. Ken himself won the award in 2006. We've done this since 2004. And he was a founder of ABC Supply, which is based in Beloit. I remember a great story he told about once he went someplace to try to get a loan, and it said he was an entrepreneur, and the person on the other side of the desk said, "That sounds like a French word for unemployed." But he took that in stride, and he and many others helped build ABC Supply to what it is today. And we're so thankful to the Hendricks Holding Company, which we'll show a little bit here in a minute, about how their sponsorship has continued. So again, here's the things that candidates for the award have to demonstrate to our steering committee, which had several votes on this as they went through a list of outstanding candidates: vision, courage, adaptability, persistence, resourcefulness, all the kinds of things that make an entrepreneur, at least a good entrepreneur. So we're thrilled to see that we've had such a great group over time. And here they are. 2004, Don Weber, Logistics Health. Don built Logistics Health pretty much from nothing, along with other team members, of course, over time, and he really had to go through a lot to get there. But Bob Cervenka, Phillips Plastics, Ken, who I've described, Jan Eddy from Winger Technology, also one of our longtime board members, Michael Cudahy, Marquette Medical Systems, Tony Sykes from the Guild at the time, and now she's at CodaWorks and is also a member of our board, Bill Linton from Promega, familiar story, Bob Hillis from Direct Supply, Kay Koplovitz from South Milwaukee, founded the USA Network, the late Fred Foster from Electronic Theater Controls in Middleton, Craig and Lee Culver, everyone knows Culver's, right? And that's been a great story itself, very much a national story. Jim Burby from Burby Information, now Dr. Jim Burby, he's become a surgeon. Mark Gehring from HealthMine, and many other continuing success stories. Zach Homestead from Jamf. Jamf is a great success story out of Eau Claire. Carrie and Dude Frank, Comply 365, continue to do wonderful things as they build their company out of Beloit. And last year, Sue Marks from Cielo. Sue is a lifelong entrepreneur, just had some fabulous remarks last year to our conference in Milwaukee. There is the hardware. Again, thanks to Hendricks Holding Company, which is part of the legacy that Ken and Diane Hendricks built. And so that is the actual hardware around this award. So let me tell you a little bit about Kevin Conroy. This you're about to see a recorded interview with Kevin. He was on the road and unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but lob in your questions through the chat function. When you go back to the Pathable page, you'll see that under this session, because we're gonna get back to him and have a session where those questions can be answered, and we'll make sure that he gets to do that and see your great questions about what he's up to and what's going on. Kevin, in terms of his background, native of Flint, Michigan, has degrees from Michigan State and Michigan. I didn't know that was allowed, but apparently he does. In fact, he spoke recently at the graduation from Michigan State. He did a lot of things with young companies over time. He eventually was with GE Healthcare. He joined Third Wave in Madison at one point and became the CEO eventually. And when Third Wave was sold, he and Manish Arora, who was also a part of Third Wave, kind of went shopping. They went looking for a company to bring back to Madison, and that's what they did. And so that's really the core of the Exact Sciences story. The company was brought here in 2009, and you'll see it went from a couple of people, Kevin, Manish, and a few others, up to about 4,200 employees today, not only in the Madison area, but around the state and around the country and the world. So with that, let's hear from Kevin.
Thank the Wisconsin Tech Council, Tom Still, for this incredible award. And the list of honorees is amazing. It really touched me to be among them. This award really belongs to the entire team at Exact Sciences, starting with Manish Arora and Graham Lidgard and June Fontana for starting this company here in Madison after a 13-year period of the company being in existence in Boston. And the team here restarted it, and the team is what made this incredible test, Cologuard, come to now 4 million Americans who've been screened, most of them who otherwise would never have been screened for colon cancer. And I am just so proud on behalf of now a team of 4,200 Exact Sciences employees for their spirit and their teamwork and their dedication to integrity and innovation that has helped build this company, and we think will help continue to do amazing things in the field of cancer screening and cancer diagnostics for years and years to come. So thank you very much. It's an amazing honor, and I'm deeply appreciative for it.
Oh, and you're so welcome, Kevin. And for those who are joining us here at the conference today, this is an award that our steering committee for the conference itself and the Tech Council sign off on. And so we're so pleased to have you emerge from what was a field of outstanding candidates. And as you noted, many great recipients of this award in the past. The Ken Hendricks part of the name for the award, by the way, is tied to Ken Hendricks, who was one of the founders of ABC Supply. And Ken received the award in 2006, unfortunately died a year later. And his family, as well as Hendricks Holdings, has supported the award ever since. And so thanks to them, and thanks to his memory for what that all means. So Kevin, as we noted, I mean, Exact Sciences had been around as a public company. What wasn't doing so well when you and Manish Arora and a very, very small team of others decided to bring it to Madison in 2009. Um, why, why Madison? Did you ever consider other places to land? And I know you had been CEO of Third Wave Technologies here, and you had some other ties to the state in the past, but why Madison? Why Wisconsin?
Well, we decided to build the company here in Wisconsin because this was our home, and we loved living in Madison. It's such an amazing place to raise a family. It's also an incredible place to build a biotech company. I mean, think about our key partners in bringing Cologuard to the masses. Epic is Epic Systems is an incredible partner, making it easy for physicians to order a Cologuard test for the 100 million Americans who need it. You can't do that without that deep partnership. Promega, which has been a long-term partner and supplier of key components of Cologuard. Aldevron, although based in North Dakota, they also have operations here in Madison, also key components of Cologuard. IDT, key components based in Iowa. This is an amazing Midwest and Wisconsin success story. And I don't think there's a better place to build a company because of the incredible work ethic, dedication, perseverance. You know, I can't beat people into work. No matter how early I come, there's always another car in the parking lot. And that's a testament to the fact that Madison, Wisconsin, the Midwest generally, is a great place to build a biotech company.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Exact Sciences, when you moved it here, it was already publicly held. And how did that affect your ability to build the company from there, in terms of, especially in terms of attracting investors to what had been a not successful venture in the past to a very successful venture now?
Yeah. When we started with the company, we had 30 million in cash and a $30 million market cap. So Wall Street was betting that Exact Sciences would go out of business. Our first job was to go raise capital, and being a publicly traded company allowed us to go to sources that we were very familiar with and comfortable with in New York and San Francisco and Boston, public company investors that we had worked with at Third Wave Technologies. And so it was a fairly natural fit. The bottom line, though, is if you have great partners and a clear plan, and you have a path to solving a very large need in healthcare, you always have a path to raising capital. We've had thousands and thousands of investor meetings over the last 11 years. I think we stopped keeping count at about 4,000. So it's a matter of will, dedication. Yep.
And 4,000 meetings. I mean, when you take that many shots on goal, you're going to be successful. One would think, anyway.
Well, if you have a team backed by Manish Arora, Graham Lidgard, and a host of incredible scientists, many who came from Third Wave Technologies and others who came from around the country and even around the world to join us, and then a partner like the Mayo Clinic, it makes it easy. So it's your team that matters, it's your partners that really matter, and you can't lose sight of that.
Yes, and you mentioned the partners, but also there was almost a partnership around technology. I mean, there were parts of the Cologuard test that were in existence, right? But there were other parts that you saw elsewhere, perhaps where you had been connected to Third Wave or some other companies, that made it that much better and that much more effective. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, when Graham Lidgard moved from La Jolla, California to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the challenge of developing what became Cologuard, his first 2 or 3 weeks in the office, he didn't really talk to Manish or me, other than we'd go to lunch once a day. He went into his office, he read, I don't know, over 100 scientific publications. And a couple of weeks later, he emerged and he said, here is how we're going to develop this test. We're going to use DNA methylation markers, DNA mutation markers, and a protein marker. And indeed, that was proven out scientifically over the next couple of years. And then 5 years later, we launched Cologuard. And it was that approach to taking different types of testing approaches that ultimately worked. And it was that brilliance and that insight. And then it was a race against the clock to get our the product developed and the clinical trials completed in time for the key guideline committee, which only met every 5 years. And we made that cutoff by 1 month. So it was literally a 5-year race to meet a deadline with an incredibly complex project. And I'm just so proud to be part of the team that made that happen.
That's amazing. And it brings to mind another question I have. Were there times, and I suppose when you're 1 month and 2 weeks out of that 5-year deadline, were there times where you thought Exact was not going to make it? Did that ever cross your mind, or how do you view that?
We never came to a point in time that any of us thought we wouldn't make it. Okay. What we did is we looked at problems one at a time and solved them. And if you do that and you spend all of your energy and kind of joy in solving problems, you don't worry about failure. Maybe the fear of failure is in the back of your mind, but as soon as you consciously think about it, you get into real trouble. The best thing to do is solve problems one at a time.
Interesting. And that gets to a sort of a related question. You mentioned perseverance. You mentioned that notion of solving problems one at a time, partnership, team building. Are those things that can apply to entrepreneurs, no matter what sector they're in? Talk a little bit about your just general advice to entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I think the first advice is being an entrepreneur is incredibly rewarding. It's also hard, but the benefit comes from, and the gratitude that you have is derived from putting your all into an effort that really matters, that you really care about. If you don't really care about the problem, don't be an entrepreneur, and certainly don't be an entrepreneur just for the money, because a lot of times these things don't work out. Care about the problem that you're trying to solve. Number two is prioritize. Don't try to solve every problem in the world. We're trying to solve one problem, and it's really been for 11 years, and we'll be on this path for another decade, which is solving the problem of colon cancer in this country. It's solvable through screening, through easier screening than we do today. Mm-hmm. And you can actually eradicate the disease if you get everybody screened on a regular basis. We're still a long way from that. So stay focused. We always say if you have more than 3 priorities, you really have none. Yeah. And the other thing is, as a CEO and entrepreneur, be in control of your own balance sheet. Own your future. Raise enough capital for you to persist for a very long period of time, not just little tiny increments that always have you on the precipice of, financial disaster. Make sure that you're very, very thoughtful, and that you as the CEO or a member of the leadership team takes personal responsibility to ensure that you are appropriately capitalized.
And you touched on something that is, I think, unique to Cologuard and the colorectal cancer that you're trying to diagnose and eventually eradicate. It can be slow moving, right? Which is unlike some other cancers, but yet it's still one of the largest killers in terms of cancers. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Researchers think that it takes 10 to 15 years to go from a small precancerous polyp to late-stage cancer. You have a long period, a latency period there where it's still not yet cancer. It's what's called precancer, not yet cancer, so you can find it and remove it. And early-stage cancer, stage 1 and 2 colon cancer, typically can take 1 to even 3 years to go from there to later-stage cancer. With screening, you can find those cancers earlier, and with the colonoscopy procedure, remove that precancer, or find that early stage cancer and treat it very, very effectively. And so that's what Cologuard does, has been shown to detect precancers and early stage cancer. And it makes all the difference in the world because it's an at-home screening test.
And you're on other routes. I mean, the DNA sort of based background for Cologuard, you've discovered in terms of your own internal work, but also working with your partners like Mayo, that there may be other applications. Um, I know you're still focused on Cologuard, and we'll talk about COVID-19 in a second, but what do you see maybe 5 years out for Exact Sciences?
What you have seen over the last 5 years is an explosion of cancer diagnostics in terms of the number and the quality of cancer diagnostic tests. Everything from knowing your hereditary risk of cancer, to screening for cancer, to more accurately diagnosing cancer. Is this or isn't it cancer? We think there's going to be a huge wave of tests that answer the question after initial surgery, after treatment, a simple blood test that answers the question, did they get all of the cancer? And a recurrence test that you would get every few months maybe that would answer the question, is that cancer coming back? So that you can now guide treatment more aggressively to the people who are most likely to recur. Or really early in that recurrence process. Tests that will tell you whether the therapy that you're on is working, what the right therapy is to be on. Because now cancer therapies are targeted to the particular genetic profile of the tumor, given that cancer is at the end of the day a disease of the DNA. So knowing what type of cancer DNA is there, you can guide the right treatment to that cancer. So we are entering an amazing period in global cancer research and innovation, and we are now the largest cancer diagnostics company in the world, and we intend to play a really important role in innovation over the next decade and beyond.
And I've noticed that Wall Street refers to you as a precision oncology company, just in general, at least when I read some of the analysts on this, which tells me they realize too that you're going to be moving in some other directions moving ahead. But let me ask about a really immediate and sharp pivot you had to take as a CEO and the rest of your team at Exact with the onset of COVID-19. You determined at some point that you had the tools, the personnel, the know-how to help combat this, and began work on some testing kits. How's that going? And number one, and second, what were some of the major hurdles that you encountered?
Yeah, so first let me say on the precision oncology point, we acquired Genomic Health, which was a longtime leader in precision oncology. It's based in Northern California, and they are the world leader. Now we are the world leader in early stage breast cancer testing and in prostate cancer testing, answering really important questions about treatment. And from that core incredible team, we are going to build additional precision oncology tests. And we're so excited about it. We also acquired a company called Paradigm in Phoenix, which will advance the ability to help guide therapy. Tom, as we face the coronavirus pandemic, we looked at this as a team and said, what can we do to make sure that our employees are safe? It was at the forefront of our thought. We are a healthcare provider. We run two very large labs in Wisconsin, a significant lab in Redwood City, and also a lab in Phoenix. And how do we keep our own team members safe so that we can keep focusing on patient care? And we brought up a test to take care of our own patients. And then we converted a huge amount of our Cologuard capacity to be able to test people in the states where our companies are located. And Wisconsin, obviously, given the size of our team here in Wisconsin, was a great focus. And we've partnered with Governor Evers, who's shown just tremendous leadership, and Secretary Palm, who led here with the early effort into assessing whether we could help out. Epic and Promega and CUNA and AmFam have all dedicated resources to the statewide effort, and we're proud to be a part of
And so you have the know-how, but you also have the distribution system. I mean, whether it's through other states where you had a presence or your partners or both. So that was kind of ready to go in some sense, so that must have helped.
it. You know what really helped was just sitting down and talking with our R&D team and our lab team and putting to them the question, can we convert some of our Cologuard capacity to COVID testing capacity? And the brand new lab that we built at 650 Forward Drive here in Madison, we took a tour of that and we looked, okay, well, these 3 rooms we could shift from Cologuard to really Cologuard expansion capacity to active COVID testing. And then we challenged the team, is this a test that A, we can develop, and B, can we automate it? And we reached out to Epic, and we reached out to Promega, and we reached out to the state. And it was an incredible collaborative effort. And as I say, we brought up this test without extensive use of email, hardly any, and without a single PowerPoint presentation. And now we're testing about 50,000 people per week. That is, it's just so gratifying to be able to help here in the state of Wisconsin. And I think altogether we've tested people in about 25 states. Having the scientific know-how, the laboratory infrastructure, and just the culture that people threw themselves into it. We just raised this as a question and people were off to the races. I don't know if there's anything more gratifying than seeing that happen. It surely has made a huge difference in the morale of our entire company as we have faced this challenge.
As your team, because 50,000 tests in 25 states is pretty amazing. So, you know, one thing I was wondering about, and this is something recently that you did. I know among your degrees, you have one from Michigan State, so you're a Spartan.
I am a Spartan.
Yeah, and so you were able to speak at a virtual graduation ceremony for Michigan State just recently. Tell us a little bit about that. That's a great experience.
Yeah, it's not something I widely advertise here in Badger territory that I'm a Spartan, but I am. My 4 siblings all attended Michigan State, and I'm really proud of the engineering degree that I earned there. It was an incredible honor to receive a call from the dean of the engineering school to give the commencement address. And although it was a virtual commencement address, the thing that I focused on was the idea that these engineering students are now underdogs. And being an underdog is okay. In fact, there are a lot of advantages that come along with being an underdog. And that our young people ultimately will, and I'm confident of this, young people coupled with American innovation will lead us out of the current challenge, serious challenges that we face throughout society. And there's going to be an explosion of innovation that will help solve a multitude of problems. Again, we will solve them one at a time. And our engineers are people who have the ability to help build a better world. And so it was an incredible honor like this is. It's humbling, and it also is motivating to keep going at it.
Yeah, when you think about engineers in 2020 and beyond, and the kinds of problems they're going to face, not only certainly things like this, pandemics, but water, energy, other pieces of the food supply, that they'll even get involved in things like that, certainly manufacturing. So the world, in a way, is their oyster in terms of the kinds of things that they could work on.
Yeah. Incredibly innovative societies like ours can play a role in making the world a little bit better. And I think that's what we need to focus on during times like this, is how do we partner better globally with Europe, with Africa, with Asia, with China, how do we build a society? Well, one way we do that is let entrepreneurs and creators of new technologies and new industries work together across the globe. If we do that, maybe everybody will take a little bit more of a deep breath and find some commonality rather than division.
Yeah. And one closing question for you, if I may. Your passion for exact sciences and its work is obvious to everyone, and it's a part of why, you know, the steering committee decided you were the person for this year's Ken Hendricks Seize the Day Award. How do you translate that to your staff? What is your key to success in doing that? Because I know others who are very dedicated, and so how do you do that?
Well, the team at Exact Sciences, the broad team at Exact Sciences, our 4,200 employees, are highly capable, driven, focused on a mission. And I think that's the thing that we always ask ourselves as we are recruiting people. Do they really care? That's the one question is, do they really care? And if they really care and they're willing to work hard and they kind of bring it every day, then come join the team, because we have a job. And as we start to come out of this crisis, we'll look to start hiring again. And we can't wait for that to happen, because we have big problems that we want to tackle. We want to do it here as from our headquarters in Wisconsin, but also we want to do it globally with our European headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, and our West Coast headquarters in Redwood City, and teams in Salt Lake and teams in Phoenix. This is going to be a fun effort, and awards like this, which really do go to the whole team, help fuel us.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you again, Kevin Conroy, and congratulations on behalf of the Tech Council, our conference steering committee. And for those who are watching this today, go to the chat function, lob in some questions for Kevin, and he'll be able to get back to you at some point as we set that up. So again, congratulations, Kevin, and best of luck to you and Exact in the future.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, the committee, and to all the entrepreneurs in the audience. Never, ever give up.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. Well, that was a great chance to speak with Kevin Conroy. Congratulations again to him. And so, like we said, we'll get your questions to him. Next, we have our exhibit hall break. And so we hope you can stop in there, talk with those folks. We'll have our Birds of a Feather sessions coming up. Check your agenda for the times and the different categories there. We'll later in the afternoon have the Governor's Business Plan Contest presentation and our youth contest, Wisconsin Yes. And by the way, there's a trivia contest, a Wisconsin Tech Trivia Contest. If you go to your Pathable site, you'll see it in your main control bar there. And also, you should be receiving some questions, some flash poll questions about your thoughts on the state of the economy. And so be looking for those as well. So with that, we're going to close and allow you to get back to see our exhibitor booths, and we'll see you again soon here. Thank you.